Ladies and gentlemen, podcast number 15, Lawn Chair Sports. What a beautiful day. We are at the Elva Roos Park. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but we're here. Andy, you did some research before. What is this lady known for? Why is the park named after her?
Yeah, Elva Roos, she was a dedicated park leader in the St. Petersburg area. There's an arboretum to our left. Very nice. I actually walked through it to get here just now. It was her idea. So did a lot of great work with the parks in this city for years. And, she got this park right here named after her. So
it's pretty awesome. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but Andy and myself have the world's coolest hats on. All right, Lawn Chair Sports hats, 47 brands. Shout out to them for sending these to us. That's so kind of them. And we're just pumped to be on the show. If you guys want some hats, throw down the link. We'll show you how to get them. All right. So, all right, how are we jumping on this show?
All right.
Let me make sure we're in camera here.
We're gonna make sure we're in camera.
Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. I don't even need to cut that out. That's perfect.
And like Trent said, if you want one of these hats, you send us the link for buying one of the hats.
Yeah, send us the link.
Send us the link for you to buy a hat.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then you can buy it.
Right. That's the process for you to buy a hat. I think there's a story we need to get to right off the rip. It's the biggest story of the day in sports. It is this NBA betting scandal. 2 key arrests this morning by the FBI.
Yeah, Kash Patel.
Kash Patel, right in the middle of it. Just when you thought sports and politics couldn't have more overlap. 2 key arrests. I'm talking Terry Rozier, and I'm talking now Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups.
Yeah,
arrested by the FBI.
Chauncey Billups, one game coaching the Blazers, arrested.
The timing is wild.
Timing's wild. So, two separate situations.
Yep.
So Chauncey Billups, this is a wild story. So Chauncey Billups getting entangled with the Italian mafia. Apparently what was happening was the Italian mafia was running these poker games. And in these poker games, they're obviously all fixed. So obviously they try to attract people, the Italian mafia, act like it's a real poker game. They would cheat and then they would make the money. But in order to legitimize these games, they would need kind of bigger, more famous people to come in to almost make it like it's a real thing. And so somehow along the way, they recruited Chauncey Billups to be that guy. Chauncey Billups then agrees to go to these games, fully knowing that they're fixed, clearly getting some sort of money on the side from it. And the FBI decides to tie that in a loop with Terry Rozier, who clearly, if you've seen the videos of him playing with the Heat over the last 4 years, you knew that this was taking place. But he's shaving points, betting against his team. This is absolutely wild. Sports world and Trump world collides again with Kash Patel doing a wild press conference in an oversized FBI jacket, which also legitimizes everything that he said must be true if you're saying it in an oversized FBI jacket. But you have Kash Patel, Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Donald Trump all in the same story. This is electric. Adam Silver is pumped. If you woke up this morning and you heard that the NBA is in trouble, you might have been thinking it was because of Wemby dropping 40 in San Antonio, but it has nothing to do with Wemby. The NBA is in trouble. Andy, that's kind of an overview, but what are our thoughts on this? This is nuts.
Yeah, you're bringing up a lot of good points. I think for starters, the NBA, Adam Silver, they're pumped right now because, not only is the NBA back, everyone's thinking NBA today. Mm-hmm. Normally, this part of the season, people's minds are on football, maybe even baseball, thinking World Series. No, it's all NBA all day today. And this is a crazy one because the NBA would have just swept this under the rug. Now that you got 47 in there, okay, he doesn't view these sports leagues as a friend. In fact, he's very much the opposition. Donald Trump's had a chip on his shoulder ever since he tried to buy the Buffalo Bills about 15 years ago now, was turned away by the ownership, by the other owners. They thought, you're a little too wild of a personality. He said, all right, I'll just do something stupid like politics instead. He has no issue going right at the league. It's one thing, Terry Rozier is kind of a role player, but Chauncey Billups, we're talking about a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Normally, if you're a league, you don't want a prominent name like that to be pulled into it.
No.
This thing could get out of hand.
And the real question is this just the tip of the iceberg? I know these arrests happen, but is this just the tip of the iceberg? We've said it actually on the pod before. We brought it up a couple times. But with the sports gambling apps like DraftKings, FanDuel, ESPN Bet dumping billions and billions of dollars into the advertising into these leagues, who knows what is going on, but I can tell you this. Everybody's sports gambling right now, and everybody in the sports gambling world is shook because they're not sure if these lines are fixed ahead of time or what. But I will say, I've always wondered how Vegas is able to get these lines and these points to be so freaking accurate. How many times have you guys pulled up a game and you thought there's no way this team can't beat this team more than 3 points? And then somehow, at the end of the game, 50 weird bounces, couple penalties later, and the score ends up +2. I find it insane, but I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think the NBA and the MLB are more prone to this than the NFL, and I'll tell you why. There's too many regular season games in the NBA, and there's too many regular season games in the MLB. And I think these players might think, some of the role players, not the superstars, they might think that it's okay to throw a couple of them because it won't derail the entire season. I feel like it's a little harder in the NFL because you'd have some guys on your ass if you're blowing one of 17 games. But I don't know. I think this whole thing is crazy. The FBI is fully into it now. We are living in a simulation. That is all I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think another thing when you look at the different leagues, not only NFL are there so fewer games, there are just fewer plays. I mean, one play in a football game can legitimately lose you the game. You can be Terry Rozier and just throw the ball to the other team on a fast break or, be the Guardians pitcher, spike a pitch in the dirt, and still have a pretty good chance to win. There are just so many individual plays to bet on. Football, I mean, one play can be the game.
Yeah.
So it's pretty meaningful. This was inevitable when sports betting was really introduced across the board, and the leagues pretty much took this risk. They said, there are going to be some idiots in the league, no matter how many times we tell them they can't, they're just not going to listen. They're not going to listen. They're going to gamble on the games. They're going to get caught, and it's going to be a bad look for our league. But they looked at it. They said, it's worth it because we're going to be raking in so much freaking money. And honestly, did anyone think these sports leagues were on the level? I think unless you were a naive 12-year-old, there is shady stuff going on. I mean, we already knew the NBA has officials fixing games. There was a huge story about it with Tim Donaghy, involved about 30 other refs. I feel like people just swept that under the table like nothing happened.
Yeah.
There's a well-known referee, Scott Foster. He's known as the extender because he's employed to extend playoff series. I mean, you don't think the leagues have an agenda? You don't think they have someone in mind who they like to win certain playoff series, just better viewership?
I mean, I think a lot of people grow up and they're playing sports and they're kind of always taught to win. They're working their butts off, and you just want to believe that Santa's real. You want to believe that these leagues are real, because the moment you find out that they're not, your Sundays and your Saturdays and your Friday night games mean so much less. So I think you're going to find that it's really tough for people to accept that there's such an infiltration of sports fixing and gambling going on in these games, because it really does ruin the purity of the game. And if the purity of the game's ruined, why are you going to tune in? But I have said, me and my brother had this conversation, we are okay if the leagues are fixed as long as they fix the Bills to get one Super Bowl.
There you go.
That's it. Just one. Just fix it for one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. It's just a wild story. It's a wild story, and it's got to be the beginning. I mean, there's no way it's just these two. Now the White House is involved, anything's possible. I mean, the league would love to just sweep us under the rug, blame it on Jonte Porter and Michael Beasley, or Malik Beasley. They'll blame it on Beasley. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're talking about stars, Hall of Famers being roped in. Buckle up.
Why do you think Chauncey Billups is doing these poker games, though? My only thought is, because you got to think, these people who get roped into stuff like in the, like with the mafia, usually there's a couple things that happen before that. So I don't think someone just randomly came up to Chauncey Billups and asked him to do this. My guess is Chauncey Billups has an extreme gambling addiction, probably lost a fair amount of money, and was kind of forced into a situation where he needed to make that money. You got to think, a lot of people will say on this podcast, oh, they're making so much money. Why would they go and do that? When you make a lot of money, you spend a lot of money. And when you spend a lot of money, it's tough to change that lifestyle. And as a pro sports player, your career is so short that you really get used to that lifestyle and you try to figure out a way to extend that. Apparently, being an NBA coach wasn't going to extend it enough. He needed to work for the Italian mafia, which is crazy to see them making a comeback in Portland. Maybe Trump was onto something. Trump said he was going to send the troops to Portland. Maybe there's more going on in Portland than we even knew.
Yeah. It's a crazy point.
Crazy.
All right, well, that's a wild story. I mean, I'm sure just more details will be trickling out, but
You'll hear it first at the Lawn Chair Sports Pod.
yeah, that's right. We got our own investigators in
We
on
have
the
some
story.
sources.
So,
Yeah,
we'll probably break.
we know a lot of people who sports gamble, so
That's
we
right.
have sources.
Yep. Yeah, we're big in the industry. That was that. What are we going to talk about next? I'm thinking there was another story that kind of shook the entire world, okay, earlier in the week. It was this AWS outage. My freaking day was ruined, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, someone smarter than me can explain it, but all these companies now, they just rely on Amazon Web Services for freaking everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. They replaced a quarter of their staff with AI, and earlier in the week, that's when it caught up with them because there were massive outages. Everything that you thought you knew how to do was broken.
Yep.
Every freaking app I needed to log into for work didn't work. I tried to log in to pay my credit card. That didn't work. I couldn't get in any of my other accounts. I went to the grocery store. They said, none of our credit card readers work because of AWS. At the self-checkout, I couldn't weigh my bananas. They said, oh, no, the AWS outage. As far as I'm aware, we had scales at grocery stores before we had Amazon Web Services. I mean, this just makes no sense. If you told me that the company that used to sell me books on the internet had an outage so I can't weigh my bananas at the store, I would say, are you having a stroke? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, the problem is that people don't understand the depth of these companies. Okay, AWS, to your point, when Jeff Bezos first created Amazon, his original mission, even though they were just selling books, was we want to sell everything to everyone. And one of their biggest business sectors is actually Amazon Web Services. So every single large website that you know, every single large company that you know, a lot of them are relying on this AWS. That puts America in such a scary place to be infrastructure-wise because if one thing goes wrong, you see an entire tidal wave of events that happen afterwards. I mean, the entire banking system almost went kaboom. Elon Musk also made a good point. There's an app called Signal, which is basically secure encrypted text messaging. And that app has always maintained that they're on their own servers, that everything's fully secure. And basically, they were saying it's the most secure way for anyone from a CIA agent to someone who doesn't want their girlfriend to know they're texting someone to message. And what do you know? What else goes out during the AWS than Signal itself, exposing that clearly they're not on their own servers. They're also relying on Amazon. So it's wild times to be in America right now. I really hope China does not see what's going on because we are so vulnerable to attacks. We are so vulnerable to electrical grid failures that I'm not trying to put my tinfoil cap on here, but it's a scary day to be an American when AWS is going out and you can't weigh your bananas, man.
It's crazy. I really never thought it'd come to this. I mean, it's like we're going backwards in time.
Yeah. Listen, it's, gold prices have been soaring.
That's true.
I have heard a lot of chatter about October 29th as well. Look into it. Sounds like something's going to be happening on October 29th. That might be a market crash. So we're actually coming up to almost 100-year anniversary of the October 29th stock market crash. So listen, folks out there heavily invested in Bitcoin, in the stock market, or in meme stocks, watch out. It could be a very rough end of the month for us.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that, but you heard it here first. I mean,
you heard it here first and hopefully not last.
Crash is coming, October 29th. Yeah, that was a crazy story with AWS. I think next up we got to hit on this. It's kind of a sad story. We don't like to touch on these types of things on the pod, but we kind of have to get into it. The city of Detroit is passing a new rule for all the sports venues. So we're talking Pistons, Red Wings, Tigers, Lions. Smokeless tobacco products, including Zyn, will no longer be allowed at the arenas. And for me, this makes me sad as an American because I feel like nicotine at the ball game is as American as it gets. And I just think of these loyal blue-collar Detroit fans who have just been waiting to see their team win something for years. I mean, they can't even enjoy a nice nicotine buzz at the ball game. I hurt for these people.
Well, I hurt for the taxpayers because they're going to have a lot less tax revenue now because who's going to want to sit through a Detroit Tigers game without packing a fatty with some Zyns, man? I mean, Who makes this decision, and why is this on the docket? Detroit is on the decline right now. They are losing businesses, they're losing population, and their most important thing that they want to do is make sure people going to watch Jared Goff and Dan Campbell can't throw some zins in their lips. I expect a big backlash. I expect a couple protests in Detroit about this. Listen, people of Detroit, you need to band together because the zin protest will not stop you from throwing 2 bags up in the top lip, doing a couple upper deckies. So I feel for the fans of Detroit. I feel for everyone in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels unconstitutional because, yes, these are private businesses, but these teams and these stadiums, they're also taxpayer funded.
Yes.
So it's not like your typical private business. It's not like the grocery store telling you, hey, you can't hit your jewel in here. And I think just in general, this whole war on tobacco products is misguided because a lot of people are saying, hey, we've got kids in middle schools who, they're bringing their vape to school. They're hitting their banana cherry ice vape. They were never a cigarette smoker. Now they're addicted to nicotine. That's a problem. That's one way of looking at it. I'm saying, nicotine addiction at an early age, it's teaching these kids discipline, consistency, commitment. I mean, these are things that you just don't have the opportunity to learn at that age. So, I don't know. Let's reframe the way we're looking at things.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Andrew Huberman has been, on record saying that nicotine pouches are actually super good for you, and it's a nootropic. And I'm sure all of you know exactly what a nootropic is. I do, for sure.
Yep.
And I think we should have all these nootropics or nootropics or however you pronounce it totally legal. They're keeping people's brain power locked in Detroit, and they need to unleash the brain power in Detroit.
That's right, yeah. So get well soon, people of Detroit. We're on your side. Lawn Chair Sports. We'll go to bat for you any day because...
We will, and we won't rest until you guys can pack some upper deckies.
No. No, we will not. All right. I think we should get back to the NBA, okay?
Ooh.
But first, I think we got to make a decision on this program.
Yeah.
It's like, are we going to be one of those programs where we pretend that the regular season games matter? And we'll say, ooh, this one for the Knicks, that's a big one. They really need this game.
Well, we're not going to pretend that until we need to pretend that.
Okay.
So while the MLB playoffs are going on and while the NFL is still playing, we're going to pretend that the games don't matter. Now, as soon as those two sports end, we're not going to have anything to talk about. Our views will probably go way down, and we're going to have to pretend like the regular season games matter.
You know what? I get where you're coming from. I mean, come late February, yeah, the Rockets are going to need that Wednesday night game against Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to make or break game for
must
their
watch
season.
TV.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So I guess just to start, what were your takeaways from opening night? Every team's played one game so far. What are we thinking around the association?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of kind of what we expected, a couple surprises. Wembanyama as MVP might have been your best call that you've had on the podcast yet. That
40
guy
and
is
15.
looking unstoppable. He definitely grew 4 inches this offseason too. I mean, the way he is able to – I watched one sequence where he rejected a guy, took the ball, drove all the way down, deked him out at the 3, crossed him over, step back 3, swish, and the guy landed. He landed on the guy's feet and won, making a 4-point play. Wembanyama is probably a double generational talent. He might even end up better than LeBron James and Michael Jordan at this rate.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's early, but this guy has the makings of an all-time great. Absolutely. He was one of 4 players to drop 40 so far. Luka Doncic dropped 40. Yeah. He was your MVP.
In a losing effort. He looked good, but the Lakers, man, they need some help.
Luka did what he did best. I mean, just put up a ton of stats in a losing effort.
Yeah, I mean, they're in trouble. LeBron LeBron was sitting on his...
Yeah, he was a ghost out there. I didn't see him do anything.
He wasn't clapping for anyone. He was sitting on his really high, weird height chair as well, which is strange. Lakers are in trouble. That might have been a bad call by me. What else went on?
Well, one of the more surprising ones, I mean, the rebuilding Jazz just absolutely kicked the crap out of the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers, this team is just a compilation of every underachiever from the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he's a multiple-time Finals MVP winner, but the last 7 years or so, he's basically just been on an extended vacation. James Harden, I mean, he's going to go in the Hall of Fame for being a talented loser. I mean, you can't spell... Well, you can, but the guy is just you can't lose it. If you look up losing the dictionary, you'd see a picture of freaking James Harden.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal's never won a thing. Chris Paul, he's known for not winning a ring. I mean, you put these guys together. Chris Paul only played like 10 minutes. There were a lot of people who were kind of high on the Clippers and had them as a dark horse pick in the West. I didn't see it at all. I mean, none of the guys shot better than 50% from the field.
No, I think what you're going to see this NBA season is everybody who has kind of been that perennial all-star, that perennial NBA superstar is just kind of coming and their gas is wearing out.
Yeah.
They're at the end of their careers, and it's just kind of sad watching them be shadows of themselves. Right now, the NBA is all about the young stars and the young talent. LeBron, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, move out the way because the next generation is coming, and they're here, man. They are here for this year. I think this year is where you really start to see the separation of kind of that old guard leaving and that new guard coming in.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I think the two best players of the last generation were LeBron and Steph Curry. And I think they're going to be the final two to kind of be.
They will.
To be playing at a high level.
Which is good.
Absolutely.
That's what you want.
Oh, I mean, they're the draw. You know, as exciting as these new young players are, the networks know. I mean, there's a reason that was an opening night matchup.
What are your thoughts on Steph Curry?
I think the guy's incredible. I think not only is his ability to shoot just extraordinary, the guy's just a freaking winner.
Do you like him, though?
I like Steph Curry. Okay. I'm a fan. It's weird because I feel like athletes go through these kind of waves. When he was first winning MVPs and, you know, playing LeBron in the final, a lot of people didn't like him.
Well, the mouth guard thing. He does the mouth guard
thing is tough.
Yeah.
That's weird mannerisms. But I feel like even within the league, like a lot of guys didn't like him that much. They kind of said like, oh, this guy just gets to take all these dumb shots. He doesn't D up the other team's point guard. You know, he puts that point guard in roller skates, but he won't guard him on the other end. I feel like the public opinion has changed even within the league. Guys now just see that he's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the narrative has to shift with that much success. I think he's a good guy. I think, honestly, a lot of these guys who are good guys struggle to have people like them. I think people like a little pizzazz, a little juice, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
A little something. He's going out there with his wife and his kids and, you know, like a good family. It's boring. There's no storyline there. So I like Steph. I think he made a mistake going with Under Armour early on in his career. You know, they've really been trying to pump out these Steph Curry shoes and the Steph shirts. It's like, who cares, man? Under Armour is such an old company. I remember the good old days going to Dick's Sporting Goods, trying to buy the newest color thermal Under Armour to wear at football practice. And those were the days. Plank, I think his name's Kevin Plank, the guy who invented Under Armour. Right. What a cool story, man. Those commercials like with Ray Lewis on the bus with all the middle school football players, those were the glory days of Under Armour. Every kid wanted Under Armour cleats. Every kid wanted to wear Under Armour. And then Under Armour just tanked. They kind of went cheap. They were going into Kohl's, Marshalls, and everything. And Nike just has slowly creeped back up. But you see so many separate brands. And I don't know how we got on this topic, but I could talk about this all day. But no, the NBA is it's interesting this year.
The NBA is back, baby. I mean, we can't wait. It's going to be a wild season. So we're very excited. And you know what? If you want to make a bet this NBA season, do it on Hard Rock Bet, okay? Because Hard Rock Bet, it's the official sports book of lawn chair sports. You know, if this season you want to bet the under on an obscure role player's rebounds, maybe they'll leave the game early with a foot injury. Who knows? If you're going to do it on Hard Rock Bet. They're today's sponsor. They're every week's sponsor. We love Hard Rock Bet.
We love it so much.
We absolutely love them.
Cash Patel loves it, actually.
He does. He does. Mm-hmm. He actually said the sports books are the victim here. So some people are saying, oh, it's the sports books' fault. No. They're getting scammed in this situation.
It's terrible. Those are great American businesses.
And, you know, any athlete or coach who got popped in this, they've been told 1,000 times not to bet, not to give out insider info. So they need to be banned from these leagues just for stupidity alone.
I agree.
Okay. I think it's time to talk World Series.
Okay.
Because we actually haven't talked a ton of baseball on this program. You know, we hit on, before the start of the playoffs, the wild card round. And that was so long. I can't remember anything that happened in that round. Sure. I mean, that was just a lifetime ago.
I remember a couple things, but yeah.
But now, I mean, the showdown is set. We've got the Los Angeles Dodgers, the defending champs. And we got the Toronto Blue Jays in their first World Series since 1993. I mean, you know, the Dodgers, they ripped the hearts out of those small market Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers had won more games than anyone in baseball this season. Dodgers just swept them. spat him out, threw him in the trash. It was sad to see. And then in the American League, I mean, we had a showdown. Toronto, 7 games against the Seattle Mariners. Seattle's the only team that has still never made it to a World Series. Won the first 2 games in Toronto, yet lost the series. First team to ever do that in a league championship series. First, I kind of want to see Seattle win. I like seeing new things, new teams break through. I want to see Ichiro finally get a chance to play in a World Series, but still exciting. Toronto hasn't been there.
Hey, Vladdy the Batty.
Yeah.
Vladdy the Batty. This is a classic David versus Goliath World Series. It is everybody in one corner saying the MLB is in shambles right now because the owners' pockets are what is driving the league. And then on the other side, you have that smaller market team, smaller payroll, and it's going to be a clash of the Titans. But it's exactly what the MLB wanted. It's 2 superstars going head-to-head. Guerrero versus Ohtani, Blue Jays, Dodgers, USA versus Canada. I can't wait for this series. My prediction is the Dodgers are going to win this series in 6 games.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers, they are a heavy betting favorite. They're minus 210 to win this series.
Wow.
But I want to give the Blue Jays some hope because I still want to believe that there's room for, some upsets in playoff baseball. I feel like it used to be one of the most unpredictable sports when it comes to the postseason.
Sure.
Toronto, they do have home field. I'm picking the Blue Jays in 7 games.
Oh, wow.
Because I just want to see something new. And I think the way this is being talked about, I mean, the Dodgers, they're the defending champs. They are a loaded team. But the Blue Jays are not as much of an underdog as they're kind of being discussed. I mean, they also have a star-studded lineup. They're hitting homers like crazy. And I think the real funny thing is that a lot of people are talking, if the Dodgers win it again, do we need to talk salary cap? Is spending an issue? The funny part is the Blue Jays also have some of the wealthiest owners in all of baseball. They've got a big payroll. They are trying to throw money around, but no one will freaking take it.
Yeah.
So everyone's saying it's a salary cap issue. The Dodgers have all this money. They can pay for all these guys. No, guys are choosing to go to the Dodgers for either equivalent or less money. Like the Blue Jays offered Shohei Ohtani the most money, but he said, I'm not going to Toronto. I'll go to Los Angeles. People want to be there because of the winning pedigree. It's L.A. When Yoshinobu Yamamoto was a free agent, the Dodgers didn't offer him the most money. He just said, I want to go to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I want to play in L.A. I mean, they are getting guys because they have a track record of winning and a track record of spending
They
a lot
got
of
the
money.
culture. They have the star power, a better place to probably grow your personal brand as well. So I get it. But, no, I think it'll be a good series. I'm excited to watch. I would not doubt, though, if you see a lot of these games going to extra innings. I think these are going to be a tough-fought series here.
Yeah, that'd be great to see. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen a true upset in the World Series. I mean, in the last 15 years, there's really only one that comes to mind. It was 2019 when the underdog Washington Nationals beat the Astros in 7. I think the Jays have a shot to get it done. And one more thing on the Dodgers, everyone talks about, they're spending all this money, they're signing all the top guys. One thing they've done well, they pick the right guys to pay. Like, you'll have teams that spend a ton of money. Like, that's the thing people don't realize. The Dodgers don't have the highest payroll in baseball this year. It's the loser New York Mets. They just spent on a bunch of fat idiots. I mean, we're talking, the Dodgers paid the right guys. They paid Ohtani. They paid Mookie Betts. They paid Freddie Freeman. These starting pitchers they brought in have been nails. So, not only do they have the cash, but they're very well run. So,
No, that's fair. I mean, rich people make bad investments, right? And they're rich people and they're making good investments.
and one last thing, people are saying, if the Dodgers win, that could lead to a salary cap. No, it won't. The salary cap, it's a players versus ownership issue that they've been going at it for, since the strike in 1994.
Right.
Yes, there might be a few. Owners would kill for a salary cap.
Well, they might be the ones injecting all of this into the media.
That is probably what would make sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting it from these sources. I'm seeing it from Fox Sports talking about, if the Dodgers win, it could impact whether or not.
But Andy, who lets Fox Sports into the locker rooms for interviews, and who lets
teams.
Fox Sports sign all these contracts, right? It's the teams, it's the owners. So I wouldn't bet if these owners are in with all these broadcasting thing and they're pumping that narrative so that they don't have to pay the players what they're worth.
Because the players refuse to budge. They will not do a salary cap. So the thought that, I don't know what narrative they're pushing, that the players will want a salary cap because they think it's unfair that
no.
only the Dodgers are winning.
No, they'd rather lose and make more money.
I mean, there's a great story over the summer. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred likes to kind of do his rounds with all these teams. He, meets some of the players in the clubhouse every summer to kind of talk about ownership-player relations. He was in the Phillies clubhouse talking to Bryce Harper. The topic of a salary cap came up. Bryce Harper had a meltdown, told him to F off, gave him a wedgie, and stuffed him in a locker because he was so adamant that, no, we will not even budge on a salary cap. So that part is pretty funny. I mean, it's
baseball in October is a beautiful thing.
It's gonna be great, yeah. So exciting series. First time in 32 years that games we played in multiple countries during the World Series. So kind of interesting. They actually
like that stat.
They did play World Series games in Miami in 1997, 2003, but that's technically considered part of the United States. So first time in 32 years, multiple countries.
Nice.
So very excited for that. And if you're gonna bet on it, do it on Hard Rock Bet.
Yeah,
okay?
Why not? Easy.
We like that. Yeah, we hit on a lot of different sports. I think it's time to get into some top 5.
Ooh, a little top 5 action. I like it.
Let's get back to the NFL.
Yes.
Let's
Our
talk,
bread and butter.
Let's talk NFL.
Yes. Do you want to go top 5 teams in the NFL power rankings right now?
I think we gotta do top 5 teams in the NFL right now, and we're talking Super Bowl contenders.
Okay,
Like, who do we see as just legit?
Yeah, who are threats this year? Who are
Super
threats
Bowl
this year
winners.
for Super Bowl? Okay,
That's right.
Let's start with 5, and we'll work our way up to 1. I will go first, and then we'll kind of coordinate from there.
Let's do that.
So I am going to go. My number 5 is the Indianapolis Colts. I have the Indianapolis Colts at number 5, and I'll tell you why. I think we've been high on them this year, but I'm looking back on all their games they won. They beat the Dolphins. They barely beat the Broncos and probably should have lost that game. They beat the Titans. They lost to the Rams. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Cardinals without their starting quarterback. And then they beat the Chargers, who had some injuries. So the Colts obviously looking very good. I have them in the top 5. Danny Dimes is a beast, but they haven't entered into my top 4 yet.
All right, Colts at number 5. All right, my number 5, I've got the Rams from Los Angeles. I think this team has been really impressive so far. They lose Puka Nacua. It doesn't matter. Devontae Adams is crazy. Matt Stafford, he's throwing 5 touchdowns overseas. He can leave the country and still play out of his mind. It's awesome. He's 37 years old, coming off back injury. Who cares? I mean, that's pretty much entering your prime now for a quarterback, given how long these guys play. They're dangerous. I mean, they've got a quarterback who's won it before. Sean McVay might be the best head coach in the NFL. I like the Rams. They're a threat.
Okay, it's your number 5. My number 4 is going to be, and you might not agree with this, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 4. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to slowly develop more and more chemistry when this offense is really going to get going. I think they're just a couple defensive plays away from winning most of these games. But you get that ball turned over by T.J. Watt and Aaron Rodgers thrown to DK Metcalf. I think they're a dangerous team coached by a very, very smart and good football coach. I would not be surprised if they sneak into the playoffs and make a little bit of run. And I don't think they're going to have some crazy record going into the playoffs, but I think if they are able to sneak into the playoffs, I would not want to play them in the playoffs. I have Pittsburgh number 4.
Yeah, who knows? AFC should be open, so that's possible. My number 4, I've got the defending champs. I got the Birds. Okay, these Eagles, there was some turmoil. Everyone was upset. A.J. Brown was crying after the game because he didn't get the ball enough. Everyone's happy. They're winning. Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's back. He's showing why he's one of the best quarterbacks we've seen. It's incredible. Their offense is firing all cylinders, and they've won before. I mean, this group has been to 2 Super Bowls. The Eagles, if you counted them out when they lost 2 in a row, I feel bad for you because that makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, my number 3 is going to be my hometown team, the Buffalo Bills. Dropping 2 back on my Power 5 list. The Buffalo Bills have dropped 2 straight, 1 to the Falcons, which was an absolute blasphemy if you ask me. Josh Allen is still front runner for MVP, but he is getting no help from his receivers right now, no help from his offensive coordinator, and certainly no help from his defense. I don't know how much longer Josh can carry the team on his back. I worry that he's going to try too hard. I hope he doesn't get injured, man, and I hope I didn't just jinx myself, but I have Josh doing too much, and that puts the Bills at number 3.
All right, Bills number 3. And my number 3, I'm going to go with the Motor City Kitties. Okay, they might be tobacco-free, but these Detroit Lions, they're back and they're rolling. You know, they had a frustrating loss, the Kansas City Chiefs. They didn't necessarily love the officiating. They bounced back. I mean, they took down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of with ease, 24-9 last Monday night. That's a team they could see down the road. I mean, they got a tough schedule as a team that finished at the top of the conference last season, and they're just answering the bell against strong opponents. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, he's ripping off big runs. Jared Goff doing just enough. This team's loaded. Dan Campbell's got those guys motivated. And, you know, some people kind of said, put an asterisk on that Tampa Bay when, you know, not only did Mike Evans go down with injury, but people said, well, you know, Tampa Bay, they're a warm weather team. Is playing in the cold. Is that going to affect them? Todd Bowles, he shot that down the postgame. He said, no, I don't put any weight into that because the Lions play indoors. So that win was legitimate, and I got the Lions at number 3.
Okay, my number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. They are absolutely rolling. They have all their stars back. They have Worthy back. Rashee Rice is back. Kelsey's playing a lot better. Hunt's running like an animal. Pacheco's running like an animal. And Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid have the formula on how to win in this league. Until further notice, they apparently seem to be the top of the AFC. I have them as my number 2.
Yeah, I've also got the Chiefs in my number 2. They're looking good. Things were rocky early on in the season when the receivers were out, but now they're just firing all cylinders. I mean, Mahomes, he looked lethargic early. You know, he looked kind of disinterested. He's back. He's playing good football. I mean, the receivers, they're opening things up for the rest of the offense. The refs are engaged. I mean, this is just, they're in midseason form right now.
My number 1, I have Fly, Eagle, Fly, because the Birds are for real this year. Jalen Hurts is for real. He's still the most underrated quarterback in the league. I'm not sure how he's underrated at this point, but he showed everyone with his 300-yard, 3-touchdown performance that he is for real. His receivers are for real. That defense is for real. And guess what? They're number 1 on the list right now, and Saquon isn't even playing well. So I think you get Saquon back up and running. Jalen Hurts just continues his absolute dominance of the NFL. I have Eagles number 1 right now.
All right. Now, my number 1, I am just a slave to the scoreboard, and I don't think anyone's been better so far in the NFL than these freaking Indianapolis Colts. I mean, Danny Dimes is putting together an absolutely incredible season. They're doing it on both ends. They could be 8-0 right now. They could be 7-0. If they're 8-0, that'd be nuts.
That'd be awesome.
You know what? They should be 8-0. This team is just incredible. I mean, it feels like it's 2006 all over again because the Colts, I mean, they're atop the AFC, and I wouldn't want to play this team in the playoffs. They're dangerous. Indy. People are happy.
All right, top 5. I think we have some disagreements, some good parity amongst ourselves. We did not talk about our list before the pod either, so interesting to see where we're at. I mean, me and Andy spend most of our Mondays after Sundays together, so I see where Andy's head's at now. I don't agree with all of it, but I respect it.
That's right. Always a lot of respect. All right, I think now we got to hit on top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, top 5 quarterbacks who are just balling out this season. I guess I'll get us started. My number 5, I'm going with Dak Prescott. This guy is having a hell of a season. Okay, I think people pretty much thought the Cowboys were mailing it in when they traded away Micah Parsons. Jerry Jones sat up there and said, well, these draft picks we're getting, I mean, they could end up being Pro Bowl level players. Hard to think much of the Cowboys this season after that, but, I mean, Dak Prescott is keeping them afloat. Their offense is firing on all cylinders. George Pickens has fit in very nicely. He's putting up monster numbers, cutting down on the turnovers. I mean, the Cowboys season is alive because Dak Prescott is playing big-time football right now.
Yeah, Dak's not even in my top 20, so we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one. My number 5 right now is Danny Dimes. I think Daniel Jones having an absolute resurgence over in Indy. I have Danny Dimes number 5.
All right. At number 4, I've got Baker. This guy is having a hell of a season. Yes, he's coming off a dud of a performance on Monday night, but he gets one of those because I've seen this guy just put his nuts on the table, lead incredible comebacks all season. He's done it with a decimated receiving core, so he is owed a stinker. There's still almost nobody I'd want down the stretch. I mean, this guy is just, even more so than he is talented, he has that aura. He makes everyone around him believe that they just got a chance and they're going to win. I mean, in the postseason, there's almost nobody I'd rather have than this guy.
My number 4 is probably not in a lot of top fives, but he needs to be. And that's why I'm inserting him into this conversation. That is Sam Darnold for the Seattle Seahawks. This guy has been playing lights out football up in Seattle, and no one is talking about him. All this guy does is play MVP level football and gets no shine. Minnesota should be spanking themselves for getting rid of him. They should have signed him to a long-term deal. I have Sam Darnold at number 4.
All right. My number 3, this is a guy who, when it's all said and done, I mean, he might go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm talking about up-and-coming star Drake May for the New England Patriots. This kid has been playing out of his freaking mind this season, and that's why the Patriots are 5-2. I mean, this kid, he has posted record-breaking passer ratings 4 weeks in a row. What does that mean? I don't even fully know what goes in that stat, but I like it because it supports my argument. He's playing great football. His one issue is turning the ball over. He's really cut down on that. He's doing with the legs, throws a great deep ball. That, like you said, that is a big talking point every broadcast. I think he's only thrown probably 30 or so in his career, but he's just been declared the best deep ball thrower in the league. So I don't know what the metrics are on that. Throws a great deep ball, not turn it over, and I mean he's mobile. So as long as he doesn't get hit too much, get himself hurt, he's going to be a terror for opposing defenses.
Yeah, my number 3, I have Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes definitely benefits from being in a good offensive system. I think he's got a lot of weapons around him, and I think he has Andy Reid, which definitely helps. So I'm not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes, but I still think that he is my number 3 on the list. I hate to bump him into the top 2, mainly because I don't like him.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, my number 2, I've got Jalen Hurts. I mean, this guy is just a winner. He's an absurd arm talent. And he showed the world why the Eagles will be a tough out once again. I mean, in terms of winning, over the last 3 seasons, only 2 quarterbacks have been to multiple Super Bowls. That's him and Patrick Mahomes. He leads the league in Super Bowl wins over the last 1 season. This guy is just incredible. He's a winner. He always makes the plays when they need him. And, I mean, the guy just... They say Drake May throws a good deep ball. Have you seen a Hurts deep ball? I mean,
yeah,
this guy is just a phenomenal athlete.
Bazooka.
Cannon arm, so good luck stopping that.
My number 2 also has a bazooka, and he throws the prettiest ball ever known to mankind, and that is Matthew Stafford out in Los Angeles. He's playing lights out football right now, coming off of a 5 TD performance over in London. He showed people in London what an air raid truly is, and that is a World War II reference. And yeah, I have Matt Stafford. Until further notice, he is one of my top 2 QBs in the league.
I like that. All right, at number 1, the numbers do not lie, people. Danny Dimes right now is putting up the best season of quarterback play that we've ever seen in Indianapolis Colts history. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, wait, the Colts, didn't they have... Yes, they had end-of-career Phillip Rivers. No, but didn't they also have... Yes, they had Carson Wentz for a season. This kid is absolutely incredible. He has resurrected a once great but dying franchise. I mean, the Colts, they're on track to be in the AFC Championship. They're looking incredible. This guy has resurrected his career. I mean, he's going to get big money the next time he's due for a contract. He might be the MVP. No one's been better than Danny Dimes through 7 games.
I'm so disappointed that you left out my number 1 in your entire top 5. I mean, I think it's disgusting. My number 1 is clearly the best quarterback in the league MVP, Josh Allen. He's the only reason Buffalo has any sort of relevance. The city has been dying for a superstar for the last decade, and they have it in Josh. Josh continues to wow with his passes, his arms, and his legs. This guy is an absolute stud, just married a movie star. Until further notice, Josh is king of the NFL. I don't care what anyone says, and for you to leave him out of your top 5 is a biased and horrible decision.
I can't remember the last time he won a game. I think I might have been in the 2nd grade the last time he won a game. I mean, it's been forever, so... Get back on the field, put some W's up there. Maybe I'll reconsider.
Eat some W's like J-Mo.
That's right. That's right. All right. That's our top 5 QBs. Great list. Always good to have a little disagreement. I think the last thing we have on the docket, we just want to talk about, what are some things, what are things that people pretend to understand, but they just don't? Everyone walks around like they know everything. What are the topics where people are just full of it? They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay? So... Fair, we can just go back and forth here. I've got a handful. Fair, you've got some as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, I'm in real estate, so one of the things that people think they understand but don't understand, and this might be a niche take, but that's HOAs. People have no concept of what HOAs are. They have no concept of why they have to pay their HOA. They don't understand the legal powers that HOA actually have. Here in the state of Florida, I think 80% of all residential units are in HOAs. And so there's so many misconceptions about HOAs, but that is one thing that people act like they know but do not know.
Is that right? Even for single-family homes?
Yes.
Most are in HOAs?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yes. It's a weird state.
I didn't know. See,
It's
I
a
learned
weird
something
state.
right now. Yeah, I'm going to say this is one that no one seems to understand. What irony means. I feel like, I don't know why it annoys me so much, but
Which is ironic.
people so often use this incorrectly. They either will use it to describe something that's not ironic, but just unlikely, or even worse, something that is actually the exact opposite of ironic. It's expected. Example of unlikely. I remember someone said one time, I was at a hockey game and they only shot 10 T-shirts in the crowd and I caught one. Isn't that ironic? I said, well, it's not ironic. It's unlikely. So the odds were kind of crazy, but I don't know if it's ironic.
Isn't it ironic?
It is. Oh, I mean, don't even get me started about when it's used in song lyrics. Never correctly. But the worst is when it's something that is actually completely fitting. Like someone will say, yeah, dude, my favorite food's pizza. And I went on a trip to Manhattan. Guess what's the first meal I had was? It was pizza. Isn't that ironic? No. It would be ironic if you went there and didn't eat any pizza the whole time. I'd expect you to eat the pizza. People are out of control. And people just say it so confidently. I think that's really what bugs me. I don't care when people don't know things. It's when they just say it with such confidence. We're gonna teach people what irony means.
No, I think that's a good one. I have another one that people always think they know a lot about, but really don't know anything. And that is mechanical watches. Okay, people don't understand what mechanical watches actually are or how they function. There's day-date watches, there's chronograph watches. You don't want to be the guy that says he doesn't know, but you also don't want to be the guy that says he knows and then someone asks you about it and you have no clue. So my other thing that people act like they know but don't is mechanical watches.
Yeah, that's a good call right there. Next one for me, I'm going to say taxes, especially in terms of when people talk about, it's a write-off. I feel like people have no idea what they're talking about. Someone will buy something. They'll buy something like an expensive, like a new car, but say, oh, well, it's a business expense. They say, yeah, it's for my business, though, so I'm just going to write it off. They talk about it as if they are going to get fully reimbursed for their purchase. I think people, when they talk about a write-off, they think they are just writing off the full expense, getting it all back. A write-off reduces your taxable income. So if you made $30,000 in income and then spent $30,000 on a car, that will wipe that away. But if your effective tax rate is 25%, then you're getting a 25% back of that expense. But people act like they are getting the full amount back.
Right.
The amount of times I hear
because you don't
people,
have the money at the end, you have spent the money on the
you
thing.
have spent the money.
And so, yes, in that scenario, someone goes, ha, I don't know taxes this year. Right, but you don't have any money.
Yeah.
You don't have any money. You could have had 30,000 minus 25%, but now you have no money and just a car.
And people just talk about it with such confidence, like, oh, I'm not worried about it. It's a write-off. So I don't expect everyone to know tax code, but people are just so sure that their write-off is incredible.
It's definitely overused a lot. That's a good one. Another thing that people don't understand that I hear a lot, actually I don't hear this a lot, but I don't think anyone who's watching understands fully. How do boats stop so fast? There's no brake.
How do they stop so fast? Can they stop that quickly? Isn't it kind of difficult for them to slow down?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
How do boats stop?
Huh.
They just don't go.
Right.
But there's no stop.
I guess it's different from a car because a car when the ignition's on
brakes.
just starts.
Well, there's brakes.
That and just start. I was saying like the boat will only go when you're pushing the gas. Is that right? Whereas a car, the wheels will roll. Is it?
Why is there no downhill water?
There's some.
Where?
I don't know. Not in the ocean, really. Maybe in like a downhill
why
river.
is all the water flat? Like, why doesn't a boat actually go down?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. No, we're bringing up good points.
No, I just curious.
Yeah. I don't know how applicable that is for this conversation, but I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it regardless.
Very enjoyable.
No, I still like it. Next thing that people pretend to understand but don't know what they're talking about, I would say politics or anything happening in the world. I mean, I would say if you were 95% of people, including me, you don't know what is going on at all. Because if you're a normal person, you don't have all day to be just reading up on this crap. Okay, they always say, "Oh, people are uninformed. People are uninformed. There's so much misinformation." No, people are just freaking busy.
Yeah.
If you have to go to work every day, get groceries, put food on the table, maybe you have any amount of social life, you're not going to be able to just take in all of this information. I mean, all of the news sources are wild. It's not as much news; it is just a bunch of people yelling at each other. Yet, ask anyone on the street. They will tell you, no, I have a strong opinion on policies. I have a strong opinion on every political issue. It's like people are convinced they need to have a strong opinion on everything.
I'd like to piggyback on that. I don't think anyone knows what a government shutdown means.
No, definitely not.
No.
Because every time it happens, I keep hearing, we're screwed. It's a government shutdown. It's a government shutdown. And I feel very sorry if this has affected anyone personally, but I've never seen it affect anything.
No.
People talk about it as if the world is legitimately ending. It's kind of like how they talked about Y2K. Just computers would explode, things would self-destruct. I mean, people would be fighting each other on the streets for food. And I feel like there's one of these every year and a half, and nothing happens.
I was at the barber today. This is completely an aside from what we're doing.
I support it.
I was at the barber today, and there was a female barber that had just finished her haircut next to us. Guy's cutting my hair. And you could tell she got a lot of tattoos, kind of a little bit, grimier looking, and clearly not a stable job person. Clearly she's bouncing around, right? And she starts talking about this orb that's floating in front of the sun right now. And she says how it's going to go in front of the sun and how it's going to lift people's consciousness on October 29th. And, me being in the barber chair, I had nowhere to go. So I had to see this one through. So I start pressing her on this hard. I said, well, how do you know it's going to raise people's consciousness and not lowers people's consciousness? She didn't have an answer for that. She said, well, it could lower people's consciousness. I said, I know, but you just made the claim that it will raise their consciousness. Now, I wanted to get that baseline off the top. Then I wanted to kind of attack the actual thing itself because she wasn't describing what it was. So she said it was made of nickel. And I'm not sure she understands physics because she said it's passing very close to the sun. I'm not a big physics guy either, but if nickel is passing the sun, it is getting absolutely destroyed.
Disintegrated.
So this lady then proceeds to show me, no, it's true. Of course, she pulls up a TikTok of a guy pointing to just a blob in the sky. And I don't know. I felt bad for this lady, and we ended up talking about AI, and I was kind of making fun of her without knowing it, kind of extending the conversation too long. My barber definitely knew I was doing it to her. He was kind of laughing. Then it came to a point where she sat in her chair, and she goes, last year I experienced a lot of hardship. And I'm like, Jesus freaking Christ. Lady, I'm just trying to get my hair cut. I don't want to hear about it. However, I couldn't help myself. I said, well, what happened last year?
Oof.
And then she goes, I got fired from my job because I stole money from my business owner. Mind you, the owner of the barber was in the corner. He's listening to all of this. I feel like I might have gotten this lady fired. I kind of feel bad, but I feel like she brought it on her own, And so I need to hear from you guys in the comments. Should I have just let her go and not question anything? Or would you have questioned people as well in the barber chair? I had nowhere to go. Keep that in mind.
Well, that's hilarious because I feel like she just expected zero pushback in the orb story.
She expected no pushback.
She's probably told that a handful of times, and everyone just said,
Yes.
Oh, wow, really? You said you wanted details, and she was not expecting any follow-up questions.
She had no details ready either for the follow-up.
Man, so she basically got picked apart by the media and was just crumbling in her press conference.
She didn't realize that she was talking to the fastest growing sports podcast host in the nation.
That is true.
And so for that, I'll give her that defense.
Right. Most clients probably aren't seasoned members of the media, but in this case, you were. That's awesome. One of the things you mentioned is actually the next one on my list. Actually, it's not, but it's on there somewhere. I can't remember if you mentioned it or not. Things that people pretend to understand. Crypto. Anyone who starts explaining what cryptocurrency is, and mind you, I am an investor, okay? But I view it the same as making a same-game parlay on Hard Rock Bet. If it turned into something great, that would be awesome, but I'm not banking on it. Anytime someone starts explaining crypto, they're saying, yeah, the thing is, there are these tokens, there's a limited number, and shut the fuck up. You sound like a moron grifter. They need They need some better people as the face of cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Because every time someone starts talking about it, I am just more and more sure it is a completely worthless scam.
Well, you know, like who tried to become the face of Bitcoin a couple of years ago? Like
Tom Brady.
no, well, yes, no. The true face of Bitcoin for the Bitcoin people was the Winklevoss twins from
God.
the Facebook story, dude. They were all over the Bitcoin conferences and exposés in Miami. They got interviewed a bunch about Bitcoin. They claim they own billions and billions of Bitcoin. I don't believe a thing. But yeah, crypto people are tough, man. Crypto people are definitely tough, and especially the people who are talking about the graphs. And then they like draw the line through the ups and downs, and then they try to predict what will happen next. There's no basis behind any of that, and they do act like they know that, and it really does piss me off.
Yeah, whereas
as well.
it like crypto or any asset, if people knew where it was going to go, then
there would be no.
then-
It wouldn't be. It would ruin the whole function of the system.
yeah, it's like when
It's-
anyone has some type of a market prediction and is just so sure of it. Well, but if everyone knew that, then everyone would be moving their
Well,
money around accordingly.
I mean, October 29th will.
That
happen.
is true. We do have a tip, but in general, and that's a classic one. Also, when people talk about mining the crypto, they say, "Oh, well, the thing is, there's a finite amount of it, and we're mining it. We're still finding the blockchain." None of this shit makes any sense.
No.
I mean, someone smarter than me might understand it, but it just sounds. And then people say, "Do you know how much electricity it takes to mine Bitcoin?" I say no, because I don't even know what that means. They say they have full rooms. They have, you'll have a bedroom full of servers mining this Bitcoin. I mean, the more and more people talk about, the deeper you go into the rabbit hole, the more and more it sounds like someone is just taking all my money. But I'm here for it. But
Hey,
I don't think anyone understands what they're talking about.
What time do you guys have softball tonight?
It's at 7:30.
Nice.
So still got some time.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, I'm just happy to be on the pod today. I think we're really going to start pushing this business even further. So, we've obviously had a pretty good feedback now. I think it's time to go a little bit more serious into this. I think we need to develop the website a little bit more.
Yep.
I think we need to start posting some blogs. Listen, if anyone's interested in joining the cast, the crew,
That's true.
We need some writers right now. We need some video editors right now. If you're good with websites, we'll take that as well. But applications are open. We actually just seeded our first round of investment for the Lawn Chair Sports Company. And a lot of people are excited about what's going on here in St. Pete, Florida. A lot of people
Oh, yeah,
are
they are.
excited. We're getting a lot of views quick. This thing is booming. And if you're wanting to join the rocket ship that Lawn Chair Sports is, leave us a comment, DM us, because we want to collab. We want to get people involved. We want to be Barstool before it got corporate. We want to be the layman man, the normal man's sports world. We want to talk crypto. We want to talk sports. We want to talk stupid politics. We're not going to take ourselves too seriously, but what I can tell you is we want to entertain the folks. We want to talk. We want to have bigger podcasts. We want to get bigger guests. This is only the start. 15 in. I think we're doing a good job, Andy, but I think we need to hit the next step pretty soon here.
I can't wait. Yeah, a lot of exciting things. I mean, we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. We love our loyal listeners, but we're just trying to bring you the best show possible and really just grow this whole thing.
That's great. Well, 15's in the book or what?
15 in the books. Did you know that 99.2% of podcasts don't get to episode 15? So,
I did hear that.
I mean, we're in the 99th percentile in terms of longevity.
That's great. I was also in the 99th percentile of weight in first grade.
There you go.
Yeah, so, hey, just keep it going. But, hey, thanks, guys.
Lord!